Alright, welcome back. So today, version 2.5. This one lost steering the last time it was out, so we're trying to figure out today on why the steering is the way it is. Got a couple servo saver eliminator and servo savers, along with a couple of servos. And we're going to get into this and figure out what is going on and why this thing won't turn. We're going to figure out the steering on this one, and then I'm going to figure out the steering on the Big Rock because it's also having an issue. And both of them have the new 25 tooth servos in them. Yes, different part numbers, but both have the same upgrade. They went to an upgraded servo that's now seems to be having an issue in this one. So we're going to pop apart this whole module system, which means I have to take it off this strap again so that we can free up the wires going to the ESC, because that comes out as an assembly, which actually, instead of doing this, because even if I do this, I then have to take out the wire holders. I think what I'm going to do is just take the ESC and flop it over so that it's out of our way and go that route. I think that'll be a easier solution. That should take all of this off. Then we'll still have to open up the receiver box. So the lid comes off with those two screws as well. And then we'll unplug the receiver, which is the second one back. And then the fan, which is the third one back. So that'll free up all of this. Then we'll be able to flip it over, disconnect our steering, then I think 3 screws, maybe 4 screws, to get the receiver box out. This one back here maybe. Yep. 5 screws. And that should free up this mess that's going here. And arrow lined up with the notch. Servo saver does have some play in it. Just going to check the screw. Screw's not loose, but you can see the center screw. It's got a lot of slop in that. So we're going to go ahead and take this servo saver off. Making sure your arrow's lined up. Servo saver's off. And here's the metal body servo that's 25 tooth. The S662 is the part number. And I'll probably replace this with the servo saver. Alright, so here's what I got. They sell these in a 22 or 23 tooth and a 25 tooth. Says for ARMA vehicles, 1/10 4-wheel drive. I believe this is the one that'll work on this, even though I don't know if they call this a 1/10, but I believe this to be it. And they give you the different adapters for whatever receiver you have. So we're going to pop this open. And this should be a little bit stronger than what's in there. Let's see if this fits in here. Oh, I believe you have to use the adapters. That feels like the one. Just going to check the other one. That's the 23. Which I'm not a big fan of these things because they get stuck on those, and these just apparently push into this. Like that. And then this would go right on here. And that would get rid of most of the slop we have. So we're going to go ahead and change out this. And that's just got a spring around the outside of that. Now you can use something like this, which is basically just eliminating that as well. And these work pretty good. This one's got the longer arm. I purchased it that way. They sell a shorter arm and a longer arm. But with this kit, you get this as well. So I knew I had both arms depending on what was in here. So this is also something that I think is pretty good and will just eliminate all this lag, especially if you put a good steering servo in there. This is a waterproof one because of where it's positioned. I strongly recommend running waterproof. And then we can up the voltage to this thing up to 8.4. We'll probably go to 7.4. And then this will end up going this way. This is a very long wire. Look at the length of this wire. This wire is just extremely long. SW1211SG. Digital Savox waterproof servo. Tighten it up. Get that out of the holder. Stick the antenna down in there. Long cord. Get that into your holder. We'll put it on some rubber bushings, even though the other one was not on rubber bushings. Mount it down solid. Put our wire back up since we got so much of it. That waterproof seal. And we'll have to figure out which way this one goes in, because all the wires are black. So we'll plug that in like that. Then we're going to have to power up this module system with the ESC so that we can center this and then start putting on either our servo saver eliminator or our servo saver. I'm really leaning towards the servo saver eliminator, which is this, because I know these work really well. But I'm going to think about that real quick, and we're going to get everything set up to power it up. Alright, so we're going to do basically servo saver eliminator. So I'm going to go ahead and put this kit on. I think I'm going to have to use the short arm out of that, I believe, but we'll find out here. Just let me get this opened up. So this arm is going to have to go on here, but it hits, of course, which means it needs to be cut down. So that is not going to work because it hits the case. So I would have to trim those two off and use the back hole, which I'll do at another point because I am not trimming this today, and get this mess plugged into the receiver. God, what a pain in the butt. Now I got to get a battery plugged in. Get our radio turned on. Center our steering. Power this thing up. With that, this needs to go this way. And I think that's too long. I need the short screw, which is in this bag. They give you 3 size screws. Power it off. We can take our... God, why is this so dang tough? Now that we got that module that way, we need to put on this piece, which I believe will be the long screw. Nope, it's going to be the medium size screw. And I want to make sure it's the same length as that one. So same as the 3S line. Then we're going to go ahead and bolt this module together, but what I want to make sure is that this wire, which is this, I pull it up so it's not touching the servo saver. So this one has about the same amount of slop as this one. This one is on the spring though, where the other one's just, the metal one's got slop in it. So we're going to get this mounted back up into the car and see if this attaches with the steering straight. And I will modify this one. Now that I know I have to use the first hole, I will trim this down and move this over so that we can have the eliminator ready to go. As you see, from center hole, it's just too long. But we'll be able to trim it up, move this to the first hole, and then use the shorter arm, and it should work out good. Right, lock that into place. Throw a couple of screws in here. Really. So a little slop, but real smooth. Alright. Now, let me fold all this stuff up. This is the ESC, and then the fan wire. We're going to have to program this ESC to give more voltage for the steering. These will have to get tucked in there, but before I do that, we're going to get our program card out and hook to it. This is the V2 program card that's updated. Hopefully this works on this model and I don't need to update it again. Okay, negative is towards me. So unplug the fan, black towards me. Grab a battery. Power it up. Connecting. Running mode. Forward reverse brake. It's set to number 2. Drag brake set to 0. Cutoff voltage 3.5. That should be fine. Punch level. We're going to up the punch level to 9. It was at 6. Save. Max brake. Brake is at 62%. We're going to go up to 75. Max reverse. Select. We're going to up that. 75. Go 100%, save, because this is a stunt truck. Neutral range is at 9%, that's fine. Timing, motor rotation, BEC voltage was 7.4. So this one was set to 7.42. So it only has 6 volts and 7.4. That's weird that it was already at 7.4. So the 4S line had a 7.4 voltage as well. Maybe that's why it's overheating. Battery mode, LiPo, and that's it. So this was set at 7.4 as well. Which I know the big rock was that. I didn't know that the 4S line was doing the same thing at 7.4 volts. So now we're going to get the lid put on and get all our wires tucked away. And then I guess we could see how it works now. Let's see. Look at all that steering I got now. This thing would barely move before. Crazy steering. So that should be real good on this. That's a $78 servo, or because the one I got for the big rock, it's a $120 servo. The other one was $78, which is this one. Really good servo, waterproof. Part number W-1211SG plus in black. That's the part number of the servo. I'm going to get the lid on, get everything on. That's going to end this video. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.
Linda, listen, Linda. Listen.
Okay, what?